There are moments in life when everything changes in a single heartbeat. For Georgie, that moment came when she realized the horse she trusted more than anything, the one who carried her dreams for years, was finally slowing down. But before she lets go, before she says goodbye to the sport they loved together, Georgie and Phoenix get one last chance. One final ride that will stay with them forever. From the very beginning, Georgie and Phoenix were more than just a rider and a horse. They were a team built from trust, patience, and endless hours of training. Through victories, failures, and countless challenges, they learned to move like one. Georgie never needed to speak for Phoenix to understand her, and Phoenix never needed a cue to know what she was asking for. Their bond was something people noticed the moment they stepped into an arena. It wasn't just skill, it was connection. But now, as the season comes to an end, something feels different. The cheers from past competitions echo in Georgie's mind as she watches Phoenix trot in the early morning light. She sees the tiny changes, the slower steps, the deeper breaths, the way he takes a moment before pushing forward. They are small things, almost invisible to others, but not to her. She knows this horse better than anyone. He has been her strength, her escape, and her partner for so long that every change in him feels like a shift in her own heart. Still, Georgie holds on to hope. Maybe Phoenix just needs rest. Maybe it's the cold morning air. Maybe, just maybe, they can continue a little longer. But deep down, behind the brave smile she wears around the others, she fears the truth she doesn't want to admit. The truth that every rider eventually faces. The moment when the horse they love begins to show the signs of time catching up. It's not a failure. It's not a weakness. It's simply life. But knowing that doesn't make it hurt any less. She walks beside Phoenix, brushing her hand along his neck, feeling the warmth of the horse who gave her so much. Memories flicker in her mind, Phoenix carrying her over her first big jump, recovering together from setbacks, celebrating after their biggest win. Every moment feels alive again, wrapping around her like a reminder of how far they've come, and how much it will hurt when she has to let go. Yet the story isn't finished. Not yet. There is still something ahead, something Georgie doesn't know about yet. Something that will give them both a chance to honor everything they've shared. Before the goodbye, before the change, before everything shifts forever, Georgie first notices it during a quiet morning ride, when the world still feels half asleep and the only sound is Phoenix's hooves brushing the ground. He lifts his head like he always does, ears pointed forward, ready for whatever she asks. But when she nudges him into a canter, there's a slight delay, just a heartbeat longer than normal. It's small, barely noticeable. Anyone else would ignore it. But Georgie feels it instantly, like the air shifting around her. She doesn't say anything. Not to Amy, not to the trainers, not even to herself, because once she says it out loud, it becomes real. So she keeps riding, hoping it's nothing more than a stiff morning. But the signs begin to add up. A slower takeoff, a softer landing, a hesitation before a jump they've done 100 times. Phoenix still tries with all his heart, but the effort is heavier now, as if his body is fighting to keep up with the spirit inside him. After practice, Georgie runs her hand down his leg, more out of habit than worry. But Phoenix flinches ever so slightly. It's not pain, not exactly, more like a quiet reminder that he is not the same horse he used to be. She bites her lip and looks into his eyes, those deep, warm eyes that always held courage. Today, they hold something else, to tiredness, and she can't ignore it anymore. Amy approaches her later, gently mentioning that Phoenix seems slower. She doesn't say it in a worried way, just observant, but Georgie feels the words hit her like a cold wind. She nods, pretending she already knew, pretending she has control over the ache rising in her chest. She wants to argue, to insist Phoenix is fine, that they just need more practice. But the truth sits heavy inside her, refusing to be pushed away. The vet's checkup confirms what Georgie feared most. There's no major injury, no sudden problem, just the gradual wear of years of competition. Phoenix has given everything, every jump, every sprint, every moment of strength, and the toll has finally begun to show. He can still compete, he can still run, but not at the level he once did, not without pushing himself too hard. Georgie listens quietly, swallowing the painful lump in her throat. Part of her wants to protest, to ask for one more season, one more shot at the dream they built together. But another part, the part that has grown up through every fall and victory, knows better. She knows Phoenix's well-being comes before everything else, even the goals she hasn't reached yet. That night, she sits in the barn long after everyone has left. Phoenix stands close beside her, breathing softly, as if sensing her thoughts. She leans her forehead against his shoulder, letting the truth sink in. Something isn't right, and pretending otherwise won't change it. What scares her most isn't losing competitions, it's losing the partner who made her believe she could do impossible things. Georgie doesn't make the decision in a single moment. It builds quietly, like a slow-breaking wave that keeps returning to shore no matter how many times she tries to push it back. Days pass, and every ride with Phoenix becomes a mix of joy and fear. She still feels the power in his stride, the fire in his heart, but now it flickers instead of burning steady. Every small stumble, every deep breath, reminds her that he's giving more than he should. And she knows that kind of effort, loyal, stubborn, brave, can only last so long. One evening, while the sky blushes with soft purples and fading gold, Georgie sits alone in the empty arena. She doesn't plan to ride. She just needs space to think, space to feel, space to stop running from the truth. The jumps around her stand tall and silent. They used to look exciting, full of challenge. Tonight, they look like reminders of a chapter that's slowly ending. She pictures Phoenix jumping them like he always did, ears forward, legs stretched, wings made of muscle and heart. He would fly, not just jump. And she realizes that it wasn't winning that made their journey special. It was the trust, the quiet conversations between them, the moments when it felt like the world disappeared and only the two of them existed. That bond is what matters. Not the ribbons, not the scores, not the expectations. Amy joins her, sitting quietly beside her without asking questions. She doesn't need to. She knows the look in Georgie's eyes, a look every horsewoman understands. The look of someone standing at the edge of a choice that hurts but must be made. Finally, Georgie speaks, her voice soft but steady. "He's tired, Amy, and I can't keep pretending he's not." It's the first time she says it aloud. And saying it feels like releasing something she held too tightly for too long. Amy nods gently. Loving a horse means knowing when to let them rest. That's the hardest part. Georgie closes her eyes, letting the words settle. She thinks about Phoenix's loyalty, his courage, how he always tried for her even when he didn't have to. And suddenly, she really knows that pushing him forward would be selfish. She refuses to let him hurt just so she can chase a dream he already helped her reach 1,000 times. That night in the barn, the decision fully forms in her heart. She runs her fingers through Phoenix's mane, feeling the softness she once took for granted. He nudges her shoulder quietly, as if comforting her instead of the other way around. His eyes hold no fear, no sadness, only trust. The kind of trust that makes letting go feel like an act of love instead of loss. She whispers the words she's been avoiding for weeks. "I'm going to retire you. You've done enough. More than enough." And in that fragile moment, something shifts. The pain of the decision is real, but beneath it there is peace, a calm understanding that this is the right path. Even if it breaks her heart a little, Georgie wipes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and leans into Phoenix. She doesn't know what the future holds, but she knows one thing for sure. She will honor him, protect him, and give him the gentle life he deserves after years of carrying her dreams. This isn't an ending. It's a promise. The morning after Georgie makes her decision feels strangely quiet. She expects to wake up with a heavy heart, but instead she feels a kind of calm, like the world is waiting for something she doesn't fully understand yet. She heads to the barn, and there he is, Phoenix, standing tall despite everything, watching her with the same gentle confidence he always has. It's almost as if he knows something is changing, but he trusts that whatever happens, she will choose what's best. Later that day, while Georgie helps with chores, Tim approaches her with unexpected news. There's a small invitational event happening at the end of the week, a friendly showcase, not a high-pressure contest. Riders can choose any horse they want to ride, even those nearing retirement. It's not about winning. It's about celebrating partnerships. Tim suggests, almost casually, that she could take Phoenix for one last run if she wants to. At first, Georgie doesn't reply. Her heart stutters at the thought. The idea of riding Phoenix in a final event fills her with both hope and fear. She wants it desperately, one more moment to feel the wind rushing past them, one more memory carved into time. But she's scared too. What if it's too much for him? What if she's asking for more than he can give? That night, she stands at Phoenix's stall again, watching him breathe softly in the warm glow of the barn lights. His eyes meet hers, and something inside her shifts. He still wants to move. He still wants to try. Not to prove anything, but to share something with her. A quiet goodbye made of motion instead of words. The next morning, she makes her choice. Not because she wants one last taste of glory, but because she wants Phoenix to end this chapter doing something he loves, flying with her. Training for the event becomes different from any practice they've done before. There is no pressure, no stopwatch, no list of corrections. Every ride feels like a gift. Georgie doesn't ask Phoenix to be his old, powerful self. She rides the horse he is now, steady, wise, and full of heart. And Phoenix responds with a grace that brings tears to her eyes. His jumps are smaller, his strides are slower, but there is something beautiful in the gentleness of it all. He moves as if he wants to savor every moment, like he knows it matters. Amy notices the change too. She watches them from the fence, smiling softly, sensing that this is not a farewell defined by sadness, but by love. It's rare, she thinks, to see a bond this pure where a rider chooses her horse's happiness over her own ambitions. And a horse gives everything simply because he trusts her daughter as the event draws near. Georgie feels a mix of nerves and peace settling deep in her chest. She isn't riding to win. She isn't riding to impress anyone. She's riding for him, for them, for the years of memories stitched into every stride they ever took together. The night before the event, she whispers to Phoenix, "We'll take it slow. Just you and me. One last time." And Phoenix, in his quiet way, answers with a soft nudge, as if promising to give her whatever strength he has left. Tomorrow, they will enter the arena not as champions, but as partners, honoring a journey that shaped them both. One more ride, one more moment, one last chance to fly. The arena feels different today. Not louder, not brighter, just heavier, as if every beam of sunlight and every grain of dust in the air is holding its breath for Georgie and Phoenix. Riders warm up nearby, families fill the stands, and the announcer's voice echoes through the space. But for Georgie, all of it fades into a soft blur. Her entire world narrows to the warm, steady weight of Phoenix beneath her. When she swings into the saddle, she feels the familiar shift of his muscles, the gentle sway of his breath. It's a feeling she's known for years, yet today it hits her in a deeper way. She realizes this is the last time she'll feel this exact moment, this mixture of comfort and excitement, of trust and courage. Phoenix turns his head slightly, as if checking on her. His ears flick toward her voice when she whispers, "Let's enjoy this. Just you and me." And with that, they walk toward the starting gate. The crowd quiets as they enter the ring. Georgie doesn't care about the silence or the eyes watching them. She only listens to Phoenix's breathing, steady and brave, and the soft rhythm of his hooves against the ground. The course ahead isn't long or complicated. It's simple, made to celebrate partnerships, not challenge them. But for Georgie, it may as well be a map of their entire journey. Every jump holds a memory. Every turn reminds her of a moment they shared. When the bell rings, Phoenix moves forward, not with the explosive power he once had, but with a calm determination that brings tears to her eyes. His first stride is smooth. His second is sure. And on the third, they lift into their first jump. It isn't high, but the world seems to pause as they rise together, just like they've done a million times. For a heartbeat, Georgie swears she can feel the younger Phoenix beneath her, the one who soared without hesitation. And maybe, in a way, he's still there. They land softly, and she feels his body adjust, steady and controlled. He's giving her everything he has, not out of force, but out of love. Each jump after that feels like a goodbye wrapped in beauty. Phoenix stretches as far as he can, finding a rhythm that speaks without words. Georgie blends into his movement, riding with a gentleness she never used in competition. She's not pushing, she's guiding. She's not asking, she's listening. Halfway through the course, Georgie feels her throat tighten. Not because Phoenix is struggling, but because he isn't. He is trying, truly trying, with all the strength he still carries. And that effort, the loyalty in it, breaks her in the softest way. She knows this is the right choice. She knows he deserves rest. But seeing him offer everything one last time makes her realize just how much he's given her over the years. When they reach the final jump, Georgie slows him down, wanting to savor this last moment. She leans forward and gently strokes his neck. "One more," she whispers. Phoenix gathers himself, almost like he understands this jump is special. And then, with a lift that feels like a memory coming to life, they rise together. It's not the highest jump they've ever done, nor the fastest, but it is the most meaningful. A quiet miracle made of trust. When they land, the arena erupts with applause. But Georgie barely hears it. She slows Phoenix to a trot, then to a walk, feeling the warmth of his effort through the saddle. Tears spill before she can stop them, soft and full of gratitude. She leans down and presses her face to his mane, whispering, "Thank you for everything." Phoenix flicks his ears, steady and calm, as if saying he would do it all again. Their final flight is done, not marked by speed or medals, but by love.